everybody? Welcome back to a brand new episode of The Lead. Your host, as always, Harley Dugan. This was absolutely fun to watch and hear and react. We get to react to a clip between two former NFL players, one former NFL coach. This is Tony Dungy and Rodney Harrison from NBC on NFL Sunday Night Football. We get to hear both of them talk about, and specifically Rodney Harrison gets to talk about who he thinks his Super Bowl pick is going to be. And damn it, Texans fans, it feels good to hear it. You already know who he's picking. Why else am I going to show you this clip? But this is exciting to get into because it just piggybacks off the last video I did with Mina Kimes and Ryan Clark, getting the goosebumps galore all over you, doing the rock for you. I mean, the goosebumps were up when Ryan Clark started speaking about that good name of the Houston Texans and what they did this offseason and what they did to improve around C.J. Stroud and D'Amico Ryans and Bobby Slowick and bringing in all these pieces, not only offensively but defensively. Damn it, it felt good. And it just piggybacks off that video because Rodney Harrison really puts it all together that, damn, maybe the Houston Texans are potential Super Bowl picks, are potential Super Bowl contenders. I think this is a legitimate conversation to have. The Texans on paper have one of the best rosters in the NFL, and I am not joking with you, Texans fans. So to all the opposing fan bases, you either swarm or die, and Texans fans, we're swarming, baby. Drop a swarm in the comment section. While you're in there, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, smash that like button, easiest smash of your life. Go down in the comment section. Let me know, how would you feel about these comments, and how do you feel about the Houston Texans' chances of potentially going to a Super Bowl? It sounds crazy. It sounds a little, maybe we're overhyping ourselves a bit. This is year one with that lofty expectation, but the Houston Texans have transported themselves, rightfully so, into this conversation by going and getting us Stefon Diggs and making other money moves that should equivalent to some sort of Super Bowl success or expectations at the very least. I'll put it like that. So without further ado, guys, let's go ahead and react together on this clip. I already fast forwarded to the part where Rodney Harrison is going to talk about our Houston Texans. As you see here, Tony Dungy's a dumbass and picked the Pittsburgh Steelers for the Super Bowl. I'm not going to explain why.
Well, you know, my original pick was the Green Bay Packers, and I can go on up and down the list of the reasons why, but I'm going to go with the Houston Texans. Yeah, and number one, it starts with their head coach. His head coach has done a phenomenal job. You look at their quarterback, he's young. They got so much young talent. Then you add in a Stefon Diggs, who's going to come in, and I think he's going to be the right type of guy in that locker room, because D'Amico Ryans, he's not going to take any chances with anyone coming in disrupting his locker room. And then on the defensive side of the ball, you know, adding a guy like Danielle Hunter, getting some of these young linebackers like Christian Harris and the young secondary. I just think the Houston Texans are they're able to take that next step with the young quarterback, the coaching staff. The only thing that can stop them are injuries and complacency, and I don't think the complacency even sits in with these guys.
You know, I love that pick, and I love the Texans and what D'Amico did, and C.J. Stroud is just incredible. I think he's going to take that second-year jump. But let me ask you this.
Fuck the Colts, by the way. We continue.
Do you think Diggs, is he going to be a help? Is he going to be a benefit, or could there be some under the surface problems there?
Well, and this is what I say to aging wide receivers, and they go to a new system, coach, and then all of a sudden they're not getting the passes. So what's important to him? Is it the numbers he's putting up, or is it the victories? Is it him coming there saying, hey, I want to prove to you guys that I can still play in the 30s, or I'm just going to come here, I'm going to be a great teammate, I'm going to encourage these young guys and be an example? It's really up to Stefon, because I've seen both from Stefon. If he wants to be selfish and he wants to be a weasel, he could be a weasel, but he also could be a great teammate. So I expect great things from him. This is it for him. If he screws this opportunity up, nobody will touch him.
If he goes in with the idea that I just want to win a Super Bowl and I want to contribute, I think they could be off the charts. I really do. Yeah. Hopefully he won't go in saying, I've got to get 10 targets a game and I got to get this many. If he just plays ball for them, they could be great.
And then that's the fear, because you have a veteran guy who's well respected. These young guys look up to him. And if he comes in and he starts being a cancer in the locker room, frustrated because the first 3 games they're 3-0, but he's only got 7 catches, but they're 3-0. And he looks up and Jamar Chase has 21 catches, Tyreek Hill has 25. This is what these guys do. And they start to judge themselves and gauge themselves against other players. But once again, he has to make up his mind that I'm going to be fully committed. I'm going to do whatever the coach asks, whatever team asks. I got plenty of money. They know I can still play. And you got plenty of weapons on that offense. Tank Dell and Nico Collins, them guys can play.
Yeah, that would be my concern, is that history has shown, I think in his mind, he obviously wants to win, but to him, winning in that formula involves getting me the ball. You know, I mean, how many times did you see them going over to the sideline and he'd be talking to Josh Allen, and it always seemed to be maybe a touch here and a touch there. And so the question is, a young nucleus that obviously worked, and CJ Stroud, who was the leader of that, does any of that get ruffled when you bring in these vets? Because it's Joe Mixon too. You know, they're adding these guys that are supposed to take them over the top and go reach the Super Bowl. And as long as they don't mess up what was already working, on paper, I'm not sure there's a more talented offense, especially when you factor in what CJ Stroud was able to do stepping in early on.
And then being able to add Joe Mixon, a veteran running back who's going to come in with a positive attitude around a bunch of young players, is going to give him a lot of energy and enthusiasm. I mean, you look at this, Joe Mixon is a quality running back. He's great in pass protection. He's smart. Dameon Pierce is going to come and be a guy that complements him. But it's the wide receivers. And Dalton Schultz, new contract, really good player, but it's the wide receivers. And Nico Collins, he showed out last year. Tank Dell, he'll come back and he'll have a big year. But it was Nico Collins who I was thoroughly impressed with this past season.
Yep.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico.
Maybe
we don't care about Mike Tirico there. No, we're not going to replay the clip either. But that's the comments between Tony Dungy and Rodney Harrison. Rodney Harrison has the Houston Texans as his Super Bowl pick. They talked a lot about Stefon Diggs, and that seems to be the biggest worry for Tony Dungy when it comes to this Houston Texans team, is the relationship between whether or not Stefon Diggs is going to be able to be the veteran that the Texans need in order for him to grow this Texans year 2, lofty goals, heavy expectations. You know, is he going to be the guy that comes in and wants all the targets and catches and yards and touchdowns? Or is he going to be the guy that's a workhorse and just puts his head down, works, shows the young guys how to do everything and lead by example? And, you know, I think it's a good worry to have. I understand why, just given some of the history he's had between Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. But I think as of right now, and this is early to tell, but what we saw yesterday in OTAs was Stefon Diggs working with some of the younger guys, talking to a John Mechie, talking to a Tank Dell in OTAs. Now, yes, this is, just practice and everything, but that is a good sign to see. It is something that needs to be harped on a bit more, that Stefon Diggs has came in with this mindset, at least for the moment, from what we're looking at. Everything's different once it gets into, closer to actually playing on the field on Sundays. But from what I am seeing right now, from amongst the Cody Stutes and the Aaron Wilsons and the DJ Bieniemys and Sean Bajanis and everyone else that is covering this team locally, doing a great job of it, there has been constant reinforcement on the tweets that Stefon Diggs is helping young receivers out and helping those guys out. And that just, reinforces the good side of those worries, is while the Texans could be a feared team moving forward, and yes, the Super Bowl expectations could actually be true. I went off in the last video and talked about the lofty goals Ryan Clark was throwing at me, creating in my mind for the Houston Texans. It feels good to be a fan, ladies and gentlemen. There's going to be many more clips I'm going to be reacting to. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel below. If you are still watching, go ahead and smash that like button. Easy to smash if you're live. Comment down below. How do you feel about this Houston Texans team? How do you feel about their expectations for the Super Bowl? Drop a swarm. If you don't know what else to answer to, just drop a swarm in the chat. And I know it's swarm or die up in here, ladies and gentlemen. As always, guys, go Astros, go Rockets, go Texans. You have a blessed day.